G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza and I'm making this video that's diverging from my content schedule because there's a conversation happening right at the moment on YouTube amongst animators. Now, as you can see, I've put some of the videos on the screen right now. You can click the links in the annotations or on the description to go check them out and listen to what they're saying. I wanted to make this video to essentially introduce my audience to what the discussion is because my demographic is very much involved in animation, and I wanted to talk about what the problem is and what potential solutions are. The problem that independent animators who upload to YouTube are facing is that the work to pay ratio is just completely off the grid. That's because YouTube has very recently changed their payment format from a per view monetization system into a watch time monetization system. So that means a 20-minute video that gets 40 to 50% of that video watched earns a lot more money than a 3-minute video where 90% of the video is watched. Now, if all content was created equally, then that's a completely fair and reasonable system. And in terms of encouraging quality content that people watch more of, it's completely reasonable. The problem is, like I mentioned before, it's the pay to work ratio. To create an animation that takes 3 minutes, let alone 20 minutes, can take months of work. And just to give you an example for context, the introduction to this video, that animated sequence of that avatar jumping across and the intro happening, took me a week's full-time work. 1 week, 5 days, full-time work for 8 seconds of animation. Now, I'm in a fortunate position because I can make 5 weeks worth of content from that and teach people how to do it, but not all animators have that demographic or audience base set up with their work. And the problem is 1 week of full-time work to create 8 seconds of animation doesn't compete with the fact that right now I will be able to record and produce this video in a matter of 2 hours maybe and be finished and have 5 to 10 minutes of content for you to watch. So that's the summary of the problem. Again, if you're interested, watch the other videos to hear a little bit more detail about it and some of the dilemmas that they're facing. But it brings us back to the point that if you're an independent animator, that means you're not getting any outside deals or sponsorships or any payments from large corporations or anything like that. The only thing you earn from your animation is what you gain through the monetization model on YouTube, and you can no longer depend on a viral hit of a 1 to 2 minute animation, no matter how good the animation is, because millions of views even on that video won't get you enough money if you spent a month or two's work on it. So now I get to the main point of what this video is for. I want to begin a conversation with people and talk about alternatives and solutions. So how can you, as an independent animator, create a sustainable income from your animations? That is the golden question. Ladies and gentlemen, the sad reality is it's extremely difficult, and even more so with less money being dispersed amongst YouTube views. So I'm going to talk about a few things that you can do if you're an independent animator to help build up your income. The first and foremost thing has nothing to do with money, and that's just talking about quality. You're going to have a pretty tough time reaching a sustainable income as an animator or getting any frequent work unless your content is good. So you've really got to work hard, really got to practice hard, and it can take up to on average between like 5 and 10 years to really master your craft and build your audience to a sustainable level. And you get that audience and you keep that audience by having great content. So the first thing I'm going to say is totally separate to money, and that's really just make sure you're making the best stuff you can and constantly challenge yourself and improve. But that aside, let's talk turkey. YouTube views is a way to create income, and it's not the best or only way to create income. In fact, now that it's on a pay per watch time system, you're going to create less income, but the fact is it's income. And what you need to do is diversify your revenue. You need to have as many little pockets of areas that build up a little bit of money so that as one whole, you're earning a reasonable income. So while YouTube may not be the best place to monetize your views, it's still currently the best place to get those views. It's the most shared video form of social media, so that's a great place to build a sustainable audience. What you then need to do is invite your audience to participate in different ways to help support you. For example, Patreon is a popular alternative for people who create more complicated and involved works for their audience to sustain them directly. But to have any Patreon worthwhile, you kind of need a larger audience to start off with. So there's a bit of a catch-22 there. Another option, of course, is that you can create t-shirts or posters and prints that you can advertise at the end of your animation and link to them and build a little bit of sustainable revenue on the side there. And then another fantastic resource, which I know know a lot of you have heard me bang on about for a long time is Newgrounds.com. The reason I keep banging on about Newgrounds.com is because they're an independently owned and run website by people who really care about you, genuinely care about you. Tom is the owner. I work with him all the time. He's fantastic and he really, really wants things to work out in your favor. So if you're an animator and you're really pushing yourself and you're trying to make it out there, I highly recommend uploading to Newgrounds as well as YouTube. It doesn't hurt you at all. In fact, it just creates another little pocket of revenue on the side and helps build your audience because it's a very specific demographic. Newgrounds is very specific to animation, games, and art. And in fact, regarding this topic of conversation, the owner, Tom Fulp, has made a post on his website. So there are just a few things that you can keep in mind as you build your own audience and cater to your demographic. But the problem is, at the end of the day, it's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than it would be for a vlogger or a musician to make money with your craft. What that absolutely does not mean is that you shouldn't try. It may take a long time. You may not yet be good enough. There may be huge competition, but if this is your passion and this is genuinely where you want to go, then I truly believe that you're letting yourself and your potential future followers down if you don't follow that dream. This is a dilemma that the internet and the independent animation community is facing right now. There will be solutions. There is a future in independent animation. It's just difficult to see right now because the main source of income for a lot of animators has totally flipped on its own head and kind of screwed a lot of people over. Now that's all I have to say in this video about it today, just to kind of add input to the conversation and bring your attention to it. And unfortunately, the irony of this whole thing is that YouTube has created a fantastic app where I can directly respond to your comments while I take a shit on the toilet. So make sure you participate in the conversations and I will be replying and looking at what you guys are saying. I've been doing that a lot more lately and I've been trying really hard to pay a lot of attention to what you guys are saying and to give as much response as I possibly can. So if you have anything to say or if you have any questions, please join in the comments section below and make sure to share this video and those other videos with people who you know are interested in making a living doing independent animation. So that's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you later.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel to see new content every week. Check out more of my stuff by clicking the annotations over there. If you want to support my work and get a few goodies for yourself, head over to my store for archives, ebooks, and get yourself something nice. If you're looking for a great place to collaborate, explore, or share your own content, head over to Newgrounds.com. That's it for now, and until next time, see you later.